Hey everyone, welcome to Wine Diplomat. I'm Eureka, and today we're going to talk about buying a wine for one reason only, and that's because of a wine critic giving it a very high rating. And so this is a way, we've talked about this before in another video, about how a lot of times the easiest way to find a wine or to find a new wine is when you're walking down the aisle, you might see a sticker on the label or on the shelf talker. They might have something that says wine enthusiast or wine spectator or Robert Parker gave this wine 95 points, 90 points, 92 points, whatever. But those little ratings, what they do is it is a clue. It's, to me, it's not the whole story, but if there's a critic that I agree with and I see that this person or this magazine has given it a certain acclaim, it at least is a little push in the direction of saying like, oh, I was maybe thinking about trying this wine I've never tried before. So in this case, we are talking about Sextant Cabernet Sauvignon. This comes out of Paso Robles in California. It is at least it should be 100% Cabernet, but in Paso Robles, by law, they could actually blend in a little bit of another varietal, whether it's Merlot or something like that. But for the most part, this is going to be California Cabernet Sauvignon. So let's take a look first. Here's the front label. You can see there's like these little waves of gold. I mean, it's a really clean label. Just says the AVA or the place that it comes from and the variety of grape that it is here. So this doesn't have like a sticker or anything that says what it got, but I know that 2018 Sextant, because of the shelf talker, the little label on the shelf, it had a big starburst at 92 points from Wine Enthusiast. So we'll take a look at what the critic said, but on the back of the bottle, there's going to be a little bit too. So nothing too crazy. It will say, what sextant means. A sextant is a instrument that uses the sun and stars to navigate across ocean water. That's pretty cool. But it also says that a little bit about nothing about tasting. It just says, they make great wine. They want to make great wine, and it says it says it right here. We know you'll enjoy. So I'm hoping we do. Wine Enthusiast gave this a pretty high rating, 92 out of 100. So it's an A. It's not kind of like, based on just that rating, I'm not expecting this to be like, oh my gosh, it's the greatest wine I've ever had in my life. But, 92 is a passing grade. I wish I got a 92 in a few of my college courses back in the day. So let's take a look at what Wine Enthusiast said about this particular wine. This impressive Cabernet Sauvignon offers smooth aromas of vanilla, root beer, cedar, fig, and prune on the nose. The palate is firmly framed by chalky tannins, delivering rich black fruit flavors alongside hints of thyme and cracked pepper. Okay, so again, a lot of times the critics are utilizing as many words as they can, but this particular one was very specific notes of the thyme, the pepper, root beer, cedar, right? So we're hopefully going to pick up all these little nuanced flavors in the glass. Well, let's take a look first. So when we're inspecting this wine, this is a Cabernet Sauvignon from California, so I'm expecting it to have like a deep, rich, ruby garnet, just deep red color to it. It is 2018, so it's not super old, but pretty good for just picking a bottle off the shelf. Cabernet Sauvignon could be aged a little bit longer if you wanted to, but I think a wine like this is made to be drunk when you buy it. So at 2018, it's been sitting there for a few years. It's ready to go right now. So as I swirl it around, I see it's got pretty good legs, meaning I'm expecting this to be a little fuller bodied because of maybe a little bit more alcohol. On the label, it says that it's 14.5%, which is elevated for Cabernet in general, but for California, kind of right where we'd think. So yeah, on the nose, yeah, it's so weird to think about this, but yeah, kind of a black cherry cola thing going on with a little bit of those, you know, those candies. They're like the root beer barrels, right? They kind of smell like if you took root beer barrel candy with a little bit of eucalyptus mint. Yeah, so I'm with you. Yeah, I don't get the time specifically, but some ingredients my wife is way better than I am with that. So, all right. But interesting, it's not just fruit. I mean, this has complexity. This is pretty good. All right, let's dive in. You get the first one. It's a cider, so it kind of shocks your tongue. Ooh, ooh, and I'm getting the presence of tannins, and I'll explain that in a second. Yeah, just good dark, like dark black cherry. That you get a good tartness out of it. All right, all right, yeah. So usually Cabernet, you want it to taste like black cherries, maybe a little bit of pepper. Definitely getting that mint flavor. Um, but as it kind of sits in your mouth, it's got these so tannins. These things they kind of give texture to the mouthfeel. They're the things that taste like cedar wood or oak, like literally like charred oak, or like they'll have like this. It gives it a non-fruit flavor to it. That's where you'll get some of the tobacco sometimes in cab, or you'll get you know, I don't want to say like leaves and things like that, but it will give it more of a non-fruit texture. But really what it does is when you get good tannins, they grip the proteins in your tongue and they kind of like take it on a ride. So it's one of the extra things that you get out of wine that you don't get with other beverages. So as weird as it does sound, tannins are a good thing. It's kind of like I always use the expression like if you're brewing tea and you have the tea bag in there and you leave it in there for a long time, the longer you leave that in there, the stronger that tea is going to be because of this like it tastes more like leaves like of the tea leaves. It's the same thing with wine tannins. But moving on to what I was expecting, I was expecting black cherry. I was expecting a little bit of pepper. Um, this particular wine, man, I dig this. I think this is definitely a food wine. You could drink it by itself. It has enough fruit, but those tannins, those extra tertiary flavors, they're there where uh, this would stand up to if you grilled some meat, if you grilled some steak, if you did some things like that. Um, this isn't super fruity. As a wine guy, like I would recommend this to someone who knows a lot about cab, especially if they like Napa Cabernets that are like $40 for 20 bucks. This is pretty good for half the price of that. And Paso, to be fair, they kind of came into their own in the 1980s, and it's been about 30 years that people are slowly but surely learning about Paso Robles as a region. They make really good old world varietals. They make good Cabernet, like we're drinking. They make good red blends. They grow a lot of stuff. They've grown Zinfandel in that area for a long, long time. But it's kind of this cool middle ground, right? Where it has that what I would consider like a French Bordeaux style of a little bit of tannins, a little bit of fruit, and a darker profile to it. But higher alcohol, like the little bit of American personality. It's got richer fruit than I would expect from a $20 Bordeaux, and it's got a little bit more alcohol, a little bit more punch to it. So I dig it. It's that classic American style mixed in with what a wine geek, if they love French and Italian and Spanish wines, I think this is a wine they would go. I would recommend, though, decanting this wine. And so, why I say that is right out of the bottle, it was really, really tight. That's the term we use when pretty much all you taste is maybe a little bit of fruit and then mostly tannins. So when I first poured this, it was like it, almost undrinkable, but it wasn't flawed. Like I didn't taste that it had like a bacteria that sometimes grow in the cork. It was just, it needed a little bit to breathe, right? We talk about wine breathing, and that's what we mean. So with a decanter, I've got a few of these in different shapes and sizes, because what they do is you pour the wine in there and you get air circulating, you get air contacting your wine, and it breaks down all the kind of the tannic structure, the alcohol starts to evaporate a little bit out of it, and it kind of makes that wine a little bit more accessible. For instance, I opened this wine immediately. It was very, very tight. 30 minutes later, started to get a little bit more fruity, was a little easier to drink. And in this particular wine, we just kept like seeing how long. We actually delayed filming the video, right? I mean, we delayed this, but we were running an experiment. How long is it going to take for this to really open up? And what was crazy is about an hour and a half, 2 hours down the road, this wine was perfect. And it was a whole, I mean, it was drinkable at 30 minutes, but it was a whole different level at an hour and a half down the road. So this is a wine that I would savor. I would sip it. I would, you could gulp it down, but we poured a glass, let it sit, let it breathe, let it open up, and yeah, this had the complexity that it stayed there longer. So I guess I'll give you a little bit more. I'm trying to think what I haven't said. Oh, the finish, really good on this wine. The finish is that last part where you smell it, you taste it, and then in between you swallowing the wine and kind of like lingering in your mouth a little bit. The longer that finish goes, usually the better of a quality wine that we're talking about. In this particular case, it's been 10, 15 seconds. I'm still counting, and it's like, it's still there. This is a fantastically made wine. I'm very impressed with these guys. I had not heard about this winery until, I just picked it. It said 92 points from Wine Enthusiast. I gave it a shot. I agree. It's not, it's not the most amazing wine I've ever had, but for $20, you could do a lot worse, man. You could do a lot worse for $20. But, yeah, I'll give you a little bit more of that. What can I say? I'm a fan. Sometimes you might have some people who don't like California wine, and they snap their nose up at it because I only drink French wine. I only drink the best, and then California just can't compete. Show them this. If I did a blind tasting with this versus Bordeaux, it would do really well. So I guess the last thing I can tell you guys is thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this video. And if there's one thing you can do for us that helps us out a lot, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. It only takes a second for you to do, but it really helps us spread the word. It gets us going with the robots on YouTube, right? So all the little things that all the other guys say, hit the bell, get the notifications, do all that. I won't beg and plead for you too much, but it does help. Hit that subscribe button, and that way, every time there's a video, and every week we post a brand new video, it gets right into your inbox, it gets right into your notifications, and you can enjoy wine with me and with us at Wine Diplomat. So for all of us, for guys behind the camera, my wonderful wife who makes all this possible, we say thank you. Go get yourself some Sextant Cabernet. It's worth the $20. Wine Enthusiast, I appreciate you steering me in the right direction. And again, I'm Eureka saying thank you and cheers. Get you some. Get you some of this. Come on. Look at this handsome guy. Look at this guy. We're gonna put you on camera, buddy.
Okay.
There you go. Oh yeah. I might just drink it out of this.
Hey, where's my refill?
Oh, this lady.
Keep it coming, buddy.
Alright, I get the last.